Thank you very much, Shocks. Great job, guys, building up the excitement and the hype.
I love how loud Jankos is every time they get locked in.
He's getting me excited at least, right? Like
he's shouting louder than when they won that fight. Was it against EDG at the Worlds where he was screaming, nice! You know, I think he's screaming louder than that now.
Well, I mean, of course, because if you win the series, you get to go back to Worlds. One of these two teams will not be making it to the World Championship as a European representative.
If you lose, you're out.
Yep, that's how it works.
Don't make playoffs, you make Worlds.
Exactly. Don't make playoffs for you. Anyway, Fnatic versus G2, one of the most storied rivalries in the history of the LEC. Usually something we see in the finals, but here we see it in one of our lower bracket matches. The loser is out, no contention for Worlds. The winner goes into next week to face off against a Rogue in that lower semi-final, and then hopefully against Mad in the final.
Yeah, it's crazy to think of, isn't it? The desk already touched on it. 2016 was the last time Fnatic missed Worlds, and G2 have made Worlds every single time they've been in the LEC. So someone's losing their, long run of just making it to international events here. And I think this is such a stacked game. You have 7 World finalists in one series.
It's absolutely absurd. 7 World finalists. Caps has been there twice. The only players that haven't been there before, Upset and Adam. Of course, Upset has been close.
And Nisqy.
And Nisqy, sorry. Oh, no, Nisqy's gone to Worlds.
Yeah, well, finals, though.
Oh, I'm sorry, Max. I was just talking about Worlds.
Oh,
that was my mistake there. Only person that hasn't been to Worlds. Adam and Upset. Nisqy went to Worlds with Cloud9 a couple of years ago. But let's get on into the draft, Caedrel, as we have a look at this. Thresh immediately banned out by G2.
Yeah, I think Fnatic are going to ban Varus, and they're probably going to ban Xin Zhao as well. The thing is, the difference between these two teams is G2's only played 4 playoffs games. Fnatic has played 10. So G2 have a lot more information on what their pick ban looks like, and G2 has always played blue side as well. So they're in their comfort zone, and they are onto the blue side. I expect Xin Zhao to be banned away perhaps from Fnatic, otherwise they might want to target ban Caps, who's had phenomenal performances on LeBlanc and on Syndra.
It's interesting how much LeBlanc has risen in priority across the course of playoffs. We didn't see her that much during the regular season, but she seems to be one of those key picks for the mid lane. Banned out here. And now my question really becomes, what roaming mid laners are we going to see from these teams?
Biggest thing now is TF and Ryze. We've seen a lot of Ryze in the LCK especially, and it's starting to rise up a little bit in Europe. Renekton banned away. Adam, I think, played 4 Renekton games.
5 games.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 games on Renekton. That was his go-to. I think after that, it's kind of like Mundo, Mordekaiser, Cho'Gath, a bit off-meta-ish champions. If the Renekton is down, so we'll see what he picks in top lane. Obviously can have counter pick on red side. Last ban now, Syndra, Lee Sin, Viego, Xin Zhao all up, but they're going to take away Ashe. I wonder if that spells a Kalista early rotation from Fnatic. G2 instantly taking the Rakan off of Hylissang.
I mean, Rakan is just such high priority over the last couple of days of best of 5s. We've seen it brought out by Kaiser, and now once again we see it going into the hands of Mikyx. As you say, Hylissang very well known for it, but Mikyx no slouch on Rakan.
Oh yeah, definitely not. We'll see what Hylissang wants to counter Rakan with. Normally we see things like Morgana out of Hylissang, and although he did win that one game, I still think it's not the real style that Fnatic want to approach here. Kalista with the Ashe ban makes sense as well. We'll see what they opt into in the... Yeah, there it is. You see the Ashe ban, the Varus ban. It spells out a Kalista 1-2. They're going heavy for bot side.
I wonder if they'll look for their support here as well. Of course, Hylissang thrives on those engaged champs. Something like a Leona can work okay alongside the Kalista or even the Alistar. Could
take away a power pick here. You know, you could take things like the Syndra or a Lee Sin if you wanted for your jungle, or Viego, and then pick support on 3, maybe even 4-5. A lot of champions tend to counter Rakan. Kalista wants to pair with Alistar, Leona, Nautilus, Rel. 4 champions open. You can easily pick support on 4-5 if you have higher priorities. In this case, it's Viego. I would like to see, well, G2, Rekkles always plays Tristana. When Varus is banned away, we tend to see Tristana 2-3. That's the 4 games that we saw in the playoffs. It was Varus, 3 games of Tristana. We'll see if he goes back to it, but no, we could be seeing a Xayah Rakan come out here from Rekkles and Mikyx.
I mean, historically, Rekkles has been very comfortable on the Xayah as well, and it teams up so well with the Rakan that I'm not too surprised that it has been brought out. Xayah, his 6th most played, 7th most played, with a 76% win rate across the course of his career. Alongside that, G2 looking to the jungle. Lee Sin will be their lock, and interestingly here, Xin Zhao actually making his entire way through this pick and ban phase.
Yeah, maybe Jankos favors the Lee Sin in this draft. Rakan gives you a lot of playmaking, and maybe he thinks it's just the ideal pick into Viego and into Kalista. But anyway, now Fnatic, do you pick your support here, or do you go for a high priority pick, maybe like the Syndra? TF still open as well for Nisqy, which I think is an important point. You know, you can pick this here now and ban away 2 mid laners. There's a lot of options Fnatic have here, but the Leona, really powerful champion, gonna pick that up now.
Teams well with the Kalista, and it does mean that we have junglers and bot side of the map locked in for both teams. We're looking to top, we're looking to mid. The question for Fnatic is, who do you give counter pick to? Do you get Adam a counter pick in the top lane against Wunder, who has been struggling a little bit in playoffs? Or do you give it to Nisqy so that he can deal with caps in the mid lane?
I think you might have to give counter pick to Adam, but then again, G2 always like to blind pick champions in top that are very tank heavy. That Diana ban catches me off guard a bit. Unless that's going to be like a Diana solo lane, Lee Sin already picked, or maybe they think Lee Sin solo lane, Diana jungle, something along those lines.
Yeah, Lee Sin solo lane fell off a little bit after the nerfs a couple of patches ago, but it does still work. It's just nowhere near as strong as it used to be.
Okay, so yeah, definitely solo lanes are the aim of the game. G2 tend to blind pick tanks for Wunder. I'll call it weak side in this case, where he picks things like Mundo, he picks things like Tam Kench top lane. And it looks like they're just banning away Adam's champions for now. Set taken off the board. Syndra is still up. Ryze is still up. TF is still up. Alongside Orianna, I think these 4 mid laners will be what both teams are looking to prioritize, given the amount of engage that they have.
Something we talked a lot about yesterday is not wanting to have 2 high priority points on the map. You don't want to have a really strong top laner alongside a really strong bot lane, because then your jungler has to split his focus a little bit. So with the Kalista here alongside the Leona, my expectation is Fnatic will want to focus bottom lane quite a bit in the early game.
Yeah.
So Adam will then be put onto tank duty on the top side.
Yeah. You'd expect so. And that Gragas ban also catches me off guard a bit. Caps was laughing there. Maybe he said like, we have Rakan picked. You're not the best Gragas on our team, Mickey. Maybe it's targeted at Wunder for the Gragas top lane. And there goes Cho'Gath. So tanks being taken off the board from both sides. Danaban a little bit off, but anyway, both solo laners now the focus. The question that you had earlier was who's going to get the blind pick and who's going to get the counter pick on Fnatic. Countering Wunder, Jace is still up. You know, these things, Irelia. I think it looks like it's just going to be a top lane blind of Mundo, just a weak side top for Adam. It makes sense. You have Kalista, you have Leona. Fnatic tend to play for bot side. You have a super strong bot lane right now. And then just blinding a top, getting the best mid matchup for Nisqy, because often what you see teams do is they play through mid into a side lane. In this case, getting a counter pick mid will help that.
Definitely will, and the question is what caps will want to pick blind here. That Syndra's still available, LeBlanc banned out of course, but then Twisted Fate and Ryze have worked their way all the way through this pick and ban. Both of them very good at taking pressure from the mid lane and moving it into other portions of the map.
Syndra Lee Sin just sounds so strong right now, doesn't it? But maybe they're just going to go, they're going to go for the Orianna instead. So very, very well-rounded combo, I have to say, from G2 here. You've got a lot of playmaking, a lot of engage with Orianna and Rakan, and you have good scaling. Now, Wunder has blind picked the Camille. Now, Wunder's been playing a lot of tanks top, other than the Jace. No, sorry, not a blind pick. Mundo's been showed, of course, so the true damage will help out into the Mundo. But I think this is the first game that Wunder actually has a counter pick in top, I want to say, in playoffs especially, because normally he just gets, they pick blue side, Wunder blind picks top, but in the end. And then the biggest question was, what is Nisqy going to counter the mid lane with? And that's going to be his Sylas into the Orianna. Obviously, will struggle in the early lane to kind of get prio. Has to trade his HP for the push. Orianna should be favored in the level 1 to 5.
And with the drafts locked in, it looks like both teams are going for relatively traditional styles here. Nothing too outlandish. You see mages in the mid lane, a lot of damage coming out from the bottom side of the map, and then top lane tanks and disruption mostly.
Yeah, G2, I mean, you can leave top on an island in a sense. You can know the Camille can just scale. Bot lane is going to be the focus for both teams. You have to expect, and playing through mid is so important. Cap should have the push early. Jankos can contest alongside Bwipo. But if you look at both comps in a vacuum, Fnatic double AP solo laners. Not so much split push. You have Sylas that can go side lane. Other than that, you have a lot of team fights. Whereas G2, similar in a sense, where the Camille can go side lane. So whichever mid or solo lane is ahead will be beneficiary on the side lane to collapse first into the team fight. But lots of scaling in mid and AD for G2, and lots of playmaking in mid and AD for Fnatic.
Oh, everyone take a breath. We've got 5 games of this, hopefully. Fnatic versus G2, the most decorated organizations in the history of the LEC. 15 titles between them, 65 matches in the past. And this might be the most important best of 5 they've ever played against each other. The world's spot on the line. Let's get on into it. Looks like early lines of scrimmage from both these teams, neither of them stepping too aggressively into the enemy jungle. Jankos just having a little bit of a poke off his head in, but I do just want to come back to something we've mentioned a couple of times here, Caedrel, and something that I think has to be the key focus for us, for the audience, for everyone watching this at home, and that is the fact that these guys don't miss Worlds. Fnatic have only missed it in 2016. Before that, they missed it all the way back in Season 2. G2 have been there every single time they've had an opportunity to be there. So every single time since 2016. And not only that, both these teams, when they go to Worlds, are our best performing teams. Fnatic made finals in 2018, G2 made finals in 2019, G2 then made semis in 2020. And this year, we're only going to have half of that power. We're only going to have half of that punching power, and it's on Mad and Rogue to really carry the rest of the reigns. Yeah,
and we'll see if they can do it. You know, the last 3 years of being a European fan at international events has been amazing with those results, and we'll see if the teams can step up to it. And it all begins here. Which one of these teams will make it there and represent Europe at the World Championship? Upset Hylissang just getting a little bit of vision, and Adam's going to spot out the Jankos. So both junglers pathing bot side as expected. Bot lane is a little bit of an Armageddon down here because you've got a Kalista lane, and Kalista lanes need resources. You want to stack waves, look for dives. You have an Aftershock champion, Leona. You have good setup, and there's TPs on the map, so you really want to invest into it. Rekkles and Mikyx undefeated on Xayah, Rakan. Not together, but that's their win rates right there. So that's good.
That's on the champions specifically, not during these playoffs. Of course, Rekkles yet to bring out the Xayah during Summer Playoffs 2021, but it's a difficult road for Fnatic to fight into. A combined 100% win rate there for Rekkles and Mikyx.
So there's an interesting thing that'll happen here, because both junglers will path bot, but Fnatic will have bot push and G2 will have mid push, so we'll see which one can leverage their lane to contest that Scuttle Crab. You can see Fnatic stacking waves in bots. We'll see if Bwipo just wants to do 3 camps and maybe run there straight away to look for some kind of dive or pressure on the map. Right now he's opted into 3 camps topside. Jankos similarly. And in isolation, you might have to favor the Camille in this matchup if she can just push, even without vision. If she knows where the enemy jungle is, she has Ignite in the all-ins. As long as she scales, gets Sunder, she's almost like a tank killer.
That's exactly what Divine Sundra is designed to do. Adam taking a chunk of HP there as Wunder pushes him back underneath the tower. Adam trying to farm up, but not being able to get too much out of it. Of course, the Mundo passive, that CC shield, will help him out a little bit against the hookshot wall dives, but Bwipo has decided not to do any of his bot side camps here. Instead, he's looking for mid lane. Caps a little bit caught out, has to flash there, as Nisqy was going to land the chains.
Yeah, good flash. If he doesn't do that, the second he gets chained, Bwipo's going to channel the W and flash instantly. It's going to be a chain CC, and he'll probably get chased down. So making sure he's safe. Hylissang
going in, looking for Mikyx here, but Mikyx can just battle dance away. The important thing for this is that Bwipo gets a bit of time where he knows the enemy bot laner can't come up, but he isn't able to step in and steal away that red.
Yeah, Jankos 2 camps up right now, so I don't think he minds losing this crab. He can run through mid and take topside crab, which means Bwipo can't take away his bot camps. The only problem there is his bot lane's in isolation. They can trade aggressively on the other side. Exhaust already popped.
For the moment, Rekkles will be able to walk back underneath this tower, but as you said, getting this Kalista lane so important. Ahead is a flash from Hilly. He was looking for the flash stun there, but couldn't quite land it. Bwipo down towards the bottom side. The ward across the wall will spot him out if he dares tread outside of the tri-bush.
The dive in the waters here you'd expect, perhaps, because they have a wave stacking up and they know Jankos is topside. Bwipo's going to force away Mikyx. They have no exhaust on the dive. They have no heal either. Looks like G2's going to have to back away unless they want to invest TPs. Nisqy's already basing, Caps spacing too to make sure they're there.
And the important thing about this is how much do Fnatic get and how much can G2 do, because they're looking towards this top side. Nisqy does have TP. If Adam gets dived, he's going to try and dodge around. The CC chain will come out. There's the TP coming out from Nisqy as he rejoins this fight up towards the top side. Wunder and Jankos are going to back away. Meanwhile, let's have a look at what's going on down towards the bottom side of the map, because Bwipo is still waiting for that gank.
The problem Fnatic have now is once you invest your mid lane TP to save your top laner who's already low, you have no TPs to get into bot, and Caps can match the dive. So the only person that can join bot in that case is Caps, so Fnatic can't force it. They just have to crash the wave, and looks like they're going to back off. Bwipo going to go back to clearing his camps. Jankos taking away his Krugs, which is the second respawn. So this Krug takeaway, as small as it might look, it's actually the second respawn camp for Bwipo, so that's going to hurt.
Wunder, remember, is running the Ignite in this lane. Look at how low Adam is. That Ignite's going to tick for 150 or so true damage. Adam might have to back away. Does have the TP to get back. Still has a flash, but Jankos is going to try and stop this port.
Yep.
Sonic Wave hits. Resonating Strike can follow that up, but with the minion wave not there, don't want to go for the dive as of yet.
He can kill him, Jankos, if he gets on top of him. No, he's just going to opt against it. Doesn't know where Bwipo is. He could have based and ran towards the top side. So risky to overcommit. Wunder can't join with an E-Flash. He has Ignite, so just going to back off in the end. Adam zoned away from a lot of creeps. You can see the 10 CS lead for Wunder already. And there's a world where Wunder can save TP here to help out his bot lane. We'll see if he does. But the biggest problem G2 have right now is Caps has no flash, so he needs information. You can see he barely has any vision around mid. Only a ward on Raptors. And Bwipo can keep sneaking in here. He has flash to gap close. Nisqy does too. The wave's not in a good spot. So G2 need to bail out their mid laner.
Bwipo could look for the Razor Beaks here, stealing that second spawn, so important for a jungler, as we've said, is equal on CS with Jankos right now. But you can see Caps has to play all the way back here. He just can't step up without that vision, Caedrel.
Yeah, Jankos and Bwipo both haven't based yet. Almost 6 minutes into the game, neither jungler's based, just keeping on clearing. See if anyone can help out Caps here, because he really can't step up. The wave's good, here comes a flash.
Good still, look to try and dodge away from the Spectral Maw, but you can't dodge away from death. First blood, Nisqy.
Yeah, that problem was lingering for over a minute there. I'm not surprised no one really noticed it on G2. Fnatic collapsing and punishing that wave state. Caps, he was in a safe spot, he was quite far back, but the overcommitments with the flash means that no matter where he is in that lane, he's pretty much dead due to the CC chain. Adam going aggressive onto Wunder, forcing him back. Will let the wave crash into him.
Yeah, really good start there from Fnatic. 1,000 gold lead for them here as well. And Caps had to TP back to the lane, has now hit level 6, but still doesn't have that flash for about a quarter of its cooldown. Let's look at where we are in terms of states of the other lanes, because Adam was put behind early on, but he's been able to get some CS and catch up with Wunder as the wave crashes into that top lane tower, so Wunder will get a bit of an advantage. But on the bottom side, Upset's got a huge lead over Rekkles because of all that pressure Bwipo was putting down.
Yeah, exactly. Both junglers and mid laners hovering to opposite sides, which in turn basically means you're zoned off waves. In this case, Adam was zoned away, so Wunder has a slight CS lead, and Upset managed to zone away Rekkles, so Rekkles is a little bit behind in this lane as well. We'll keep track of that for now, but both junglers are going to base. Jankos out on the map already, hovering towards his top side. Adam has flash and ultimate, but Wunder has the ultimate to lock him up. We'll see if this play is forced.
You know Adam's trying to get away from that. Hextech Ultimatum coming out. Jankos was going in the opposite direction. Adam trying to trade in. The Ignite's been ticking, and Adam won't be able to survive. Jankos takes the kill.
Good execution. It's as simple as that with the Ignite. Nisqy's hovering around. He has flash. He could gap close onto Wunder here with E.
Yeah, flash, steal away the ultimate, and then jump forward. That's what he's looking to do, but he puts the Hextech Ultimatum down onto Jankos. Nisqy trading in here in a 2v1.
Oh,
Nisqy winning, but he takes up a tower shot. Jankos should be able to clean this one up, but can't quite do it. TP comes out. Bwipo off towards the top side as well to protect his mid laner. Jankos, though, might step straight into Bwipo here, puts down the ward, notices that Bwipo's there, and will have to back away.
Yeah, Bwipo's level 6. Jankos is really low. He can't contest that. He might lose his blue buff for that. Trading in bot's gonna miss. And Nisqy tried to get one person, but he was hitting both in that fight, it felt like. You could see towards the end of the fight, he queued on top of Wunder, I believe it was, and then tried to flash to finish him off. In the end, he got both of them very low, but didn't get anything. So the biggest winner of that is Caps. You can see he pushed in mid, and now he's moving towards bot lane after having crashed that mid wave, which means that Fnatic's bot lane might have to respect it.
They really do. And after a few forays, after a few scuffles in the first 8 minutes of this game, it's pretty even. Only a 500 goal difference between these two teams. As I say that, Wunder may be caught out. Spectral Maw goes wide. Wunder's still looking to trade, but can just hookshot wall dive across this wall as and when he wants. Spectral Maw coming out as well. There's a Heartbreaker. Jankos joins the fray, but he's only level 5. Nisqy on his way as well. Bwipo's going to eat that honey fruit to be okay as Adam chases them out. Meanwhile, in the bottom side, Mikyx had to dance away from death as Upset and Hylissang look to put the pressure down.
Yeah, Jankos wasn't level 6 there. If he was, he could have looked for it. All in and mid. Nisqy's going to deal a lot of damage on the Caps here. See if Caps wants to trade back with the ultimate.
Man, I do love the fact, in Pick and Ban we were saying it's difficult for Sylas, levels 1 to 5, to deal with Orianna because of the ranged into melee matchup. But because the Shockwave comes out here, Caps looking for it. Counter Shockwave used by Nisqy, but Jankos is here, still only level 5. Caps has to flash away, and Nisqy will live to fight another day. Can't quite survive in the end as Caps takes him down. But you can see Nisqy in this pure 1v1 is winning out those trades.
Yeah, when he can get on top of the Orianna, it looks like he can win the trades and he can start to chunk her out and push her back. Caps doesn't have the damage to kind of commit back for the all-in. The ultimate would just be dashed away from or wouldn't have the damage to finish him off, and Nisqy just keeps opting into these 1v2s in the end. That's going to really backfire for him now because Caps gets a kill, and look how many CS Nisqy's losing under that mid tower without TP. He's not going to get any of it, so he's going to be down in XP. You can see he's already level 7, slowly falling behind.
Caps with the most experience in the game so far. Nisqy will get here in time to catch a couple of these minions, but not enough. And with the game swaying to and fro, I want to ask you guys at home a question. And it's a big one. It's one of the biggest questions we've asked recently in the LEC. Who's getting it? Who's going to Worlds? Fnatic or G2? Will Fnatic miss it for the first time since 2016, or will G2 miss it for the first time in their history? Spam G2 if you think they're going to get it. Spam for FNC if you think they will secure it.
Oh, I honestly have no idea, Medic. All the analysts predicted G2 to win, but then again, Shock said it could be cursed. We'll have to see if that does happen. In the end, the game is very, very even right now. Upset's really good movement there to dodge away from knocking Mikyx. And Nisqy's kind of recovered in the CS department. He's got the blue buff now. Upset, though, might be in trouble.
Yeah, he's being rooted up here, and you can see Jankos on his way as well. The exhaust coming down to slow Upset. Here comes Jankos, Hylissang there as well. The quickness coming out from Mikyx. He just hit level 6 in the middle of that fight. He's not able to find any marks to charm up. Spectral Maw being used by Bwipo. He needs to be a bit careful because that root caller is on a pretty short cooldown for the Xayah. We'll be able to pull those feathers back. Yeah,
Nisqy was hovering around that bot lane. He just got into the bot side of the river and he was ready to join the fight. So Mikyx popped the ultimate, saw Bwipo and Nisqy and was like, nope, not going in there. I don't think he had the knock-up either, so Upset's just going to have to be forced to flash away. Still has around a 20 CS lead, and he's opted into the plated steel caps to keep himself safe. Wow, 70-30 in favor of G2.
Not too surprising, G2, the more consistent Worlds attendees have never missed it, of course, and with this early start, I think I'd expect it to be a little bit more even overall, but right now G2, of course, having only played one best-of-5 series, haven't had the long road that Fnatic have had to make it to this lower bracket match.
Don't know, another reason why G2 might be slightly favored. You know that graphic we brought up about EU making World Finals, final semi? Do you know who's all in those? It was Caps!
It's always Caps. Sonograve comes out, Caps with a shockwave, managed to find the mark. Bwipo going in for the 2v1 trade here, does have the Heartbreaker, can use that ultimate to get Caps down, but can't quite get the damage. Hylissang going in with the Zenith Blade as well. It's a double for Jankos. Hylissang will get one in response, but Jankos now with the red buff and with a Rakan to boot.
No flash.
Hylissang should be chased down here, as you say. No flash, Hex Flash won't save you now. It's a triple for Jankos.
A lot of fighting going on mid, but Jankos is there, Mikyx there, and G2 win out on the 3v3. Jankos having a great game already, 4-0-1, 100% kill participation, and a lot of players like Inspired, specifically in PGL, said Jankos is in peak form, especially in scrims. The meta suits him, and he's showing up already in this best-of-5.
Yeah, really coming out clutch, being involved in every single one of his team's kills so far. Wunder underneath the tower needs to dodge this final infected bone sword, manages to do it. Adam healing up with that ignite, using the grievous wounds will tick away at him. Adam's gonna flash in. Won't quite die, but this maximum dosage keeps him alive for the moment. Jankos on his way as well. Adam puts down a couple of wards to spot out Mikyx as he comes for the flank, but Jankos is almost here. The rest of Fnatic perhaps throwing good after bad as they look to save Adam, who is already dead.
Yeah, Adam gets the solo bolo, but ends up dying. Another kill over to Jankos with the Herald spawning everyone's move towards the top side. Both AD carries are handshaking bot lane, just trading off creeps. But now Herald is the focus for both these teams. Nisqy and Hylissang have a great position. They could flank. Jankos has no flash. Mikyx has ultimate as well. Caps is split though. This is the biggest problem G2 have here. How does Caps rejoin their team? Is Fnatic just going to commit 3v2, or are they going to turn on Caps?
I mean, the good thing for G2 is they have two of the best escape artists as champions. As their two picks here, Mikyx just jumps across the wall. They didn't know that this control ward where Mikyx is walking was there, so G2 had been spotted for their entire push towards that Rift Herald. However, the Rift Herald will reset itself, and still that ward survives. Fnatic getting more information than they should at this moment.
Yeah, Wunder's back as well. Adam's going to run towards mid. It's now a 4v4 towards the top side. Who's going to pull the trigger first? Hylissang has no flash. Mikyx and Jankos are looking for it. And Wunder's going to go back to top wave. Cap's going to go back to mid wave. And everyone is just going to back off the Herald for now. Plates falling in 50 seconds makes it so that Herald value is dropping every second that goes by. But both teams are going to ignore it for now. And as I say that, maybe Fnatic want to turn around and start it up themselves.
And although bot lane has been a little bit of an island, this game Upset does have a 20 CS lead and 2 plates on that Kalista, so he's a sizable chunk of change ahead of Rekkles, but really the focus has been on the rest of the map. You see all of the kills basically on that top side right now as Bwipo starts up the Rift Out, as you say. Plates falling off at 14 minutes means that this is not as valuable as it would have been a couple of moments ago, but you can see G2 in position to fight. Yeah,
look at Upset though. He's moving out through bot side river, so if the fight's prolonged, he'll be there first while Rekkles is bot, so G2 have to make a decision. They have to fight now or back off.
Zenith Blade, Solar Flare, Mikyx trying to dance away, but that's both of his battle dances used. There's a quickness as well, and Upset with waiting arms. Looks for Mikyx, the ignite is sticking, won't be enough. Rekkles now down towards the bottom side looking for those plates, but there's a TP behind him as Fnatic are not willing to let Rekkles have any free time. Feathers fly, Feather Storm, and the TPs come in. G2 might look to continue to invest down towards this bottom side. Instead, they back away.
Or G2 are playing with fire around that Herald. Maybe a second later and Mikyx would have died. Upset had to rotate all the way up, and Rekkles doesn't get a plate in response, but Fnatic do get the Herald and they push G2 back. They're only about 1,000 gold down, but they have the neutrals. They have the Dragon, first Dragon of the game, second one spawning in a minute, and they have the Herald. We'll see how they can use it. Upset now in mid. We're going to see a 1-3-1 come out here from Fnatic, and G2 probably going to respond by matching.
Fnatic have been so good at getting these early objectives throughout the course of playoffs. In fact, their early game has just been very strong in general, getting gold leads against Vitality and Misfits, and on average a very high KD at 15 as well. It means they get 1.3 kills for every time they die, and they get those first dragons. Here, of course, they have fallen behind in gold. They are losing in KD, but they still securing those neutral objectives.
Yeah, Fnatic like to run at you, and they don't really stop until they either die or they kill you.
Yeah.
And that's what we tend to see all the time. Especially in the playoffs best-of-5s that we've seen, always just diving after getting a kill and forcing the fight. So you need to be a bit more tempered against G2 because they will punish you if you do overextend. For now, it looks like Adam is going to get the first tower of the game on bot lane.
He's going to look for the Zenith Blade here, but the Solar Fire onto Jankos will lock him up. Mikyx waiting there with the battle dance is really smart because Hylissang a couple of times has Zenith played him and then solar flared the target that he would jump to. And because he waited, he was then able to jump to Jankos and get away. Upset looking for Rekkles down towards this bottom side. Remember, no Feather Storm, so the flash has to be invested by Rekkles.
Yeah, Fnatic's just pushing G2 out of their own jungle. They're going to get the bot tier 1, and they're probably just going to start up this Drake and take it. Wunder has no TP, so he can't rejoin the bot side of the map. Looks like it's just going to be a tower-for-tower trade, but Fnatic winning out. First tower and second dragon of the game now. If they don't lose anything mid, they're A-OK. Rekkles loses his flash as well.
So let's talk a little bit about the sequence of plays, because it really feels like G2 have given up the bottom side. They're like, Rekkles, you stay down there by yourself. We're not really going to fight it. Fnatic can have all the vision they want. They can take the dragon. They can take the tower. And before this, G2 had a gold lead. They had a really fed Lee Sin. It feels odd that they would just so willingly give up so much of the map. Yeah,
the Lee Sin is ahead, but you also have to question the 3v3 and the skirmish power that Fnatic have. You know, Kalista Leona on one item is so strong. As I say that, Fnatic's just going to pop the Herald in bot tier 2. Yeah, such a strong 3v3. Nisqy's always moving out of his lane. Caps can't really match it just yet. He wants another item before he can fully commit. And I don't think G2 can stop this tower from falling unless they fight. They kill the Herald, and they are going to arrive in time, defending the play in bot. And negating their Herald.
Jankos looking for this. Goes in. That's the Dragon's Edge as well. Mikyx on the chase. That's the quickness. Hylissang does have flash. So does Upset. They're looking for Upset. TP's coming in as well. Upset still has that flash to jump across the wall. He's used the heal already. Wunder's going to join the fray. Now Fnatic looking for the fight in the bottom side. Nisqy steals away the Dragon's Rage. But already a kill goes over to G2, and there's 5 members strong. And Upset, you may be like Rekkles, but more handsome and less passive in lane. But when you're against 5, you just can't win out. Wunder takes the kill.
Yeah, 2 kills straight over to G2. Fnatic overextending again in bot lane. You get bot tier 1. You have the Heralds from earlier. You get the Dragon, but you're going for a bot tier 2 after Wunder's pushed out top and based and ran towards bot lane. When we get the replay, just look at Wunder on the minimap, because Adam has no TP, so no matter what happens in bot lane, it's a 5v4 already for G2. So as we pull this one up, you can look at Wunder on the bot side, just running straight behind them all of G2 after pushing out top to tier 2. Adam has no TP, so what Jankos is doing here is he's buying time. He wants Fnatic to fight him. Mikyx forces the engage with TP. Nisqy thinks it's a good idea to match. In the end, it's a 4v5.
See G2 just able to split up Fnatic as well, with Bwipo having to jump across the wall. Upset was all on his lonesome at the end and did fall. And this Kalista, although she got that laning advantage, really isn't as far ahead of the Xayah as she was before, especially with Rekkles picking up a kill.
Yeah, if anything, she's possibly behind or at least even. And if Xayah is even or ahead, that's really bad for Fnatic the later this game goes. Only a 1K gold lead for now, but it's going to get worse. Orianna and Xayah really outrange Kalista and Sylas, so Fnatic need to turn this game into a very heavy skirmish type game where they can just pick members off one by one in a full-on front-to-back 5v5. Will be hard for them, especially if Wunder finds a flank onto this Kalista.
That's what he'll be looking for with the Trinity Force complete. No Divine Sundra for Wunder this game, instead going for the Triforce, more outright damage. Alongside that, Execution is calling to deal with the Mundo in the lane. And of course, the Immortal Shield Bow, the Kingslayer coming out from Nisqy. There's a lot of healing elements from the Fnatic lineup.
Yeah, everyone's getting towards 2 items now. And what I'm going to do here is just bring up the minimap, because look at what's happening. We've got a cross map going on. You see G2 sitting on top tower. Fnatic's going to get bot tier 2, but the top tower wasn't hit by Herald. Mikyx's just dead. Adam just kills him, and Mikyx has nowhere to jump. Does G2 have to back off this top tier 2 now? It looks like they do. So the top side of the map just falls apart at the click of a finger. And now Caps might be in trouble.
Caps is all alone here. Abscond Duck misses. Hylissang flashes in. The flash coming out as well. There's a shockwave, but with the Everfrost, the lockup, Fnatic get 2 quick kills, 1 out of nowhere. Adam just solo killed Mikyx.
Yeah, just like that, out of nowhere. Exactly. Fnatic's can get 4 towers. G2 only have 1. They couldn't get the top tier 2. They lost Herald. They can't get mid tower or bot tower just yet. And that 1 kill just made it so Caps had no one to help him in mid lane. Mikyx and Jankos were showing on towards the top side. And Fnatic just collapse and they dive.
That's a 2,000 gold swing in the matter of a minute or so, just with Adam making a very good play on the Mundo there, managing to get that solo kill, and the rest of Fnatic very willing to invest into killing off Caps. The Caps 1 and 3 so far. Caps, he's got a very large proportion, almost 40% of his team's deaths. And the question is, can they keep him down? Because we saw earlier, he does still have the most gold in the game, although that may have changed a little bit over the last couple of minutes. With the next dragon up in a minute's time, though, Caedrel, you have to think this is going to be what we're going to fight over.
Yeah. Both teams just want to push in mid and move towards Drake. And now G2 opposite. They might just want to drop the dragon and just push for this top tier 2. Even then, Wunder has TP to commit to the 5v5 if G2 want to opt into it. Caps has no flash though, and Rekkles is coming up soon. So G2 have these really long hyper carries in a sense with Orianna and Xayah, but they want to make sure they're safe, because if Hylissang and Bwipo and Upset get on top of them, they're as good as dead. Looks like Adam's going to match Mundo top for now. Both top laners have TP. Dragon in 40 seconds. Fnatic forced to back away because Hylissang showed top.
Yeah, and Upset's gone up towards the top side as well, so assuming G2 can gain control of this bottom side river, should be third dragon of the game going over to them. Of course, Fnatic already having 2 means that's not too much of a worry for them, but does delay that Cloud Soul.
I wonder if Fnatic's going to pressure Baron here. Upset's on the top side of the map, in top lane, pushing in top, and G2 are going to get bot tier 1, and they're going to get Dragon. G2 smell this, and they realize, hang on guys, if we go for bot tier 1, Rekkles is bot with no TP, Fnatic's just going to start up this Baron. This is a 4v5 no matter what for Fnatic, and it's a good fight to take.
Can you smell what Fnatic is cooking right now? It smells very much like a big purple worm. They've started it up. 8,000 HP on it at the 21-minute mark. Fnatic looking to make G2 make a mistake. Rekkles on his way. There's the solar flare. Hits one. Mikyx going in with the quickness as well, and Rekkles is now here. It's
Rekkles.
Quickness going back. The shockwave already down as Caps is dead. And now the question is, can G2 fight this 4v5? Feathers fly. Rekkles going to try and pull them back, but the chase is on from Hylissang. Wunder dives onto the backline. Rekkles is dead as well. So is Mikyx, and Fnatic win the fight.
Yeah, G2 thought they could go for the bot tower, and they thought they could go for the Jake, but they're playing against Fnatic, and you know they're just going to start up Baron and turn. The turn was perfect, really good engage from Hylissang, and no matter what the turn is, as long as they start the fight, that's all that matters. So now, after being forced away from the Dragon, they force a fight on Nash, and they get the Dragon themselves. This macro game from Fnatic is fantastic to watch.
Really pretty stuff there from Fnatic. They will look for this third Dragon of the game, keeping G2 on that timer. And right now, they're just in commanding position. Jankos going to have to jump away from this. Hex Flash comes out, Hylissang dives into the pit. And Fnatic have a 1,500 gold lead 22 minutes in.
Yeah, Rekkles is sprinting towards the top side, so Fnatic know they have about 3 or 4 seconds to just start the fight, and G2 have to back off until Rekkles is here. But then being forced to back away when Caps has no flash, with so much gap close on Fnatic, with Leona, with Kalista, with a Mundo and Sylas running at you, Caps is as good as dead before Rekkles arrives. So again, it's a 4v5. Yes, Bwipo dies on the backside to Jankos and Wunder, but look at Rekkles, 4 members on top of him. Nisqy tries to save him, and this death ball of Fnatic is unstoppable.
Honestly, Hylissang just played that fight so well. Like, he got the initial Hex Flash into Solar Flare, they got the slow, then the Zenith Blade onto Caps, the stun onto Caps, which meant that Bwipo could then stun him with the Spectral more. Then he turns his attention away from Caps and moves onto Rekkles, gets the stun onto Rekkles, which means the rest of the team can get in there. A good Leona is so much fun to watch, and it's why I'm happy that Hylissang is playing Leona rather than something like the Morgana, where he doesn't have that agency to really express his skills. Fnatic in the lead right now, of course, still a very close game between these two, but Fnatic didn't end up taking the Baron. They did only take the Cloud Drake, and they can look to get more of those neutral objectives over the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, the good thing for G2 right now is Wunder should win on side lane. He has the healing reduction, has true damage on his Q, so he should be able to win against Adam in the 1v1. But Adam has TP, and he can always just group with his team, get this vision set up, and then base whenever he wants. Or they can force up a Nash and make Wunder TP. Round 2, ding ding. Only a couple minutes later.
Okay, Fnatic backed away because they knew that they'd been spotted on Vision, perhaps just not wanting to take it. Caps still pushing, Caps trying to step away from the Solar Flare. The Zenith Blade hits once again, the Shockwave coming out as well. Caps still alive for the moment. The chase is on, Bwipo's low, there's the charm, there's the quickness onto the back line, onto Upset. Jankos is looking for this, but he can't quite get the damage down as Upset pulls the stopwatch to go golden. Nisqy coming in, the TP's joining as well as Wunder looks for the fray. Hexagolden made him his key target. Upset the one he wants to land it on. Nisqy steals away a Shockwave, Upset is dead. Adam next on the menu here for G2. Nisqy on his lonesome in the midst of 5, puts the stopwatch, but that's just a sombrero. G2 win the fight.
Oh, that team fight was beautiful from G2. Fnatic were hungry for blood and they committed to the fight. Wunder was late with the TP, but Caps held his flash that entire fight, and that's what baited Fnatic to just keep going and going and going. And the Baron, it's gone. G2 are going to pick that up. 2 minutes, 30 seconds on the Cloud Soul, and just watch how long Caps holds his flash here for. So he gets engaged on by Hylissang, just sidesteps the Leona ultimate, and then when he even gets the stun, Caps doesn't hesitate. Just pops the Shockwave, runs in range of Mikyx, Mikyx comes in, and then Fnatic Upset. He gets isolated off, and then by the time Wunder arrives, he's there to finish him off.
You can see Fnatic after that initial burst just didn't have the follow-up, and because Wunder is there, as you say, he can just lock up Upset in this Hexagolden Maiden, making it very difficult for anyone for Fnatic to defend.
Yeah, Nisqy, it's really hard for him to get into the fight because he was zoned away at the start, and as Fnatic was engaging and committing to the mid lane, he was still in river, so he had to come around the side. That's why you saw him at the end in a very awkward spot where he couldn't dish out any damage, and you can see the carries of Fnatic didn't get as much impact in that fight as they wanted. Wunder has no flash here.
Wunder's going to jump across the wall, the Solar Flare with the chase, only gets the slowdown. Bwipo still chasing in, but Wunder able to walk away. That's Ignite burnt, and the ultimate from Hylissang.
Yeah, Wunder has a lot of tenacity, so he gets through those stuns pretty quick, and G2 gonna push in mid. Wunder has no TP, and Adam does, so G2 might have to be careful here. That's why they're not committing to this tier 2. Could get TP'd on from behind. Upset and Bwipo could commit from bot side into the mid lane. Cap still has his flash up, and he's building towards those 3 items. Rekkles as well. These carries are going to get stronger and stronger and stronger for G2. So Fnatic need to find a way to isolate them to make these fights very messy. Adam just going to base. And G2 going to focus on this top tier 2. As I say that, Adam's going to cancel his base and go for the wave. He's delaying the Baron buffed up creeps. That's going to buy Fnatic a lot of time. And G2 chasing him. I mean, oh, it's just going to TP out. Yeah, he has the passive too.
Unless you can root caller, yeah, with the passive as well, it's just nothing you can do.
Wow, that's such a good play, because now that stalls about a minute of G2's time. They're just going to have to base. They probably could have gotten the top tier 2 there and maybe forced Fnatic to base out of this bot side, so it gives Wunder the bot push. But in the end, it looks like they're not going to get it. But as I say that, I think maybe Rekkles has 1 creep left to work with. But no, he's just going to back off.
And that's just such awareness, such sportsmanship from Adam to be aware of that in that moment, think I can take this, they can't CC me. In his first best of 5, his first G2 Fnatic best of 5, to think about that, that's just really smart stuff from the rookie.
It was a 5-head play, because TP is not really useful until Nash is up anyway, so it's fine to just use it like that. And now, Cloud Soul in 30 seconds. G2 do have the push in top and the push in mid, so they still should have some control around this. It's whether Fnatic want to opt into the fight or not.
That's the question. Do Fnatic want to fight it? So far, the answer has been yes. Through the season, the answer has been yes. Fnatic always want a fight, always want a fray. And they might look for it in the mid lane as Mikyx going forward here. Can just dance back. Of course, you can see Nisqy looking for a flank position, but he is on a ward, so he's just going to go back up towards the top lane and clear out that wave.
Yeah, I think they just have to give it, don't they? Fnatic upset has no flash. Waves are pushing into you. By the time you even get to this Dragon Pit, you're face-checking into Rakan, Xayah, Hylissang, Camille, Orianna. It's really hard to face-check anything with carries having no flash, so just push in mid, push in top, get some deep vision towards the top side. You can see no matter what happens in the game, when a play is made on one side of the map, you always make a play on the other. So that's why Fnatic push in mid, they all run top side, take wards, deep vision, everything, push in top to tier 2, and buy yourselves time on the map.
Do you think those circles were big enough to highlight what you were doing?
I chose the big circle instead of the small one, but it's okay, we'll ignore it.
It's like covered the entire quadrant here. It's great.
Now they can maybe look for a pick. Mikyx has to be careful.
This vision helping them out as Mikyx steps forward into the Zenith blade. Mikyx, though, able to dodge away the Guardian as well to keep him alive. So what was invested there? Well, it was only a Solar Flare and a Zenith blade, not too much. Mikyx only burnt his quickness as well. So on either side, actually only support ultimates were used.
Yeah, Mikyx should have died there. It's a little bit disrespectful to kind of walk up into the enemy team's territory when you don't see them on the map. But as I say that, Caps has flash, but he's getting TP'd on behind. Wunder's TP is not up for at least 10 to 15 seconds.
Nisqy looking for the back door play as he gets in. Caps with a superb flash away from the Everfrost.
Yeah, great flash there.
Can't lock him down.
Yeah, what Nisqy did was he E'd and he W'd on Sylas, and he was playing a game of chicken, but Caps reacted phenomenally to his E and flashed away from it. If he got hit by that, he gets rooted, and then there's a world where Nisqy takes the ult, pulls him into Adam, and he might die. So good flash there. Now Wunder's going to push in top. He saw everyone on Fnatic down towards bot side. Maybe he can get this top tier 2 finally for G2. Feels like G2 have all the map pressure they need to keep control of this river to stop Fnatic getting any more neutral objectives.
You can see the items stacking up on G2 as well. 3 items complete on Rekkles, 3 as well for Caps. Wunder in a strong position with his Trinity Force Starax combination. On the other side, though, you know, you do have 2 items on Nisqy. You do have a Ginsu's on upset. They are strong. It's just, at the moment, it feels very much like G2 are in the driver's seat of the game. And this ebb and flow of who is in control is something we've seen all the time in G2 Fnatic games.
I think that Fnatic are going all in this next fight. Upset just bought a Guardian Angel. I think they're just taking what they have and they're throwing it and seeing if it sticks, because this next fight, he has flash, he has GA, G2 have a lot of dive. I think Fnatic are starting to realize Xayah, Orianna, Camille are they're gonna outscale their counterparts, so the later this game goes, without having control, it's even harder to team fight. So get Guardian Angel, get the 3 items on everyone now, and this next Baron is gonna be a fight no matter what for Fnatic.
Wunder looking for this. Where are the rest of Fnatic? Well, look where Hylissang is. Look where Hylissang is. Can he get the long way around here? Because the Hexagon Maiden is available for Nisqy. Lots of damage down onto the side of spots to stopwatch. Bwipo's here as well. Needs to get over that wall. Upset joins him with the blast cone. Ignite ticking. Nisqy gonna get the Everfrost slowed there. Wunder's gonna try and hookshot wall dive away. Bwipo! Stun with the Spectral Maw. Hylissang with the Solar Flame as well and chases on. Wunder overstepped. Wunder overstayed and Fnatic pounce. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Rekkles is gonna be able to get a tower out of this. The question is, can Fnatic now defend their base?
That's the big question though, because Baron's not up for 40 seconds. And Wunder's up in 43, so he should be able to TP by the time Fnatic even tried to start it. G2 get a bot tier 2, and Wunder does get shut down, so a lot of gold went over to Fnatic there. It's just a case of what they can get off of it, because it looks like they're basing. No, Upset's just cancelled his recall. He's running for this top tier 2, but Caps is going to clear out the wave. Maybe Fnatic can make a pick onto Caps now. He has no flash. I think they might just commit to a full-on dive. Jankos is trying to find Fnatic. If he does, that'll help out the rest of the map. Fnatic looking.
Good dodge away there by Jankos. Face call coming out as well. He's going to use the flash. That is big because, of course, the next fight around the Baron in 7 seconds' time. Not having that flash for Hylissang means no possibility of that flash kick.
I think Fnatic's just going to force it, you know. I think they realize it's getting worse and worse and worse. Just pull the trigger, get the fight started.
G2?
G2 have all base. They have TPs. You can see them coming in now, but the bot lane of G2 is really, really far away. Rakan, Rekkles, they're very far. It's going to be a 3v5 at best. G2, Fnatic's just going to commit.
Jankos has no flash and Hylissang is acting as a bodyguard. Setting him up, it's gone. The Ren is used. G2, do you fight or do you flee? Fnatic are looking to flee. They're looking to get out of this one as quickly as they can. The Solar Flare coming out as well, and there's the quickness onto the back line. Adam already dead. Upset next on the menu. He's got that GA, but the GA won't save you today. You're left to the hungry wolves that are G2. The rest of the team retreats, and Upset gets taken out.
Yeah, but Baron over to Fnatic. They lost 2 members, and that's a 40 to 50 second death timer for them. But Dragon's up in a minute. I don't think Fnatic will be in time to contest that Dragon, but the important thing is they stopped G2 from getting a Baron for a long, long time, and that should help them hold on at the very least. And we'll see what they can do with it. 3 buffs right now. Hylissang forced to flash away. Wunder's just committing for it.
Thanks to Medu coming out. Bwipo's here as well. Hylissang dead before Bwipo can really intervene. Nisqy looking in the wings as well. Bwipo's going to get knocked up, and Fnatic have walked straight into this. 2 quick kills, and the Baron might not even matter here because G2 just have the numbers advantage. They've got waves in the mid lane, waves in the top lane. They've got the inhibitor down. Can Fnatic defend?
15 seconds on Upset. Adam's up now. It's just the solo lanes of Fnatic to defend the Nexus. I think G2 might be able to push an end here, Medic.
First Nexus tower is down. G2 looking to jump in. The quickness coming out. There's the charm. It distracts them. The second Nexus tower falls as well, though. Adam diving in, looking for the kills.
Upset alive.
Of Fnatic get in here. Upset alive. The stopwatch coming out from Adam. It's a 4v2. It's a 4v1. Upset forced back to the fountain as G2 will clean up game 1.
What a performance from that man on your screen. 6-0-12, 100% kill participation from Jankos. It looked like G2 dropped the ball for a second around that Baron, but a couple kills and the waves already pushing in gave them the momentum to push into the base of Fnatic. Fnatic tried to hold on, and G2 was relentless.
It was such a back and forth game in the mid game, but then as you say, G2 just took control of it, and it became very difficult for Fnatic to ever find an avenue to approach a fight, or to approach G2, or to even approach their own base at times.
Fnatic was against the clock. They had to force it. They went all in with that G on Upset. They wanted to fight or get a Baron at the very least because TikTok was on the clock, and G2 put the party on stop.
G2 took down their rivals in game 1, and we'll get some takeaways from the analyst desk in just a few minutes. That was good. That was
you like that?
Even though League of Legends is not a physical sport, there's the same eagerness and nerves before every single esports match than I had. The same in swimming. It was always about getting closer to a new high that you can reach, an endless pursuit of perfection. Even though I've come so close, I don't feel bad about it. If I work harder, it is gonna happen.
Kia, movement that inspires.
You don't have a chance against me. I can calculate 90 trillion moves in advance. Not fair. Not fair.
Red Bull gives you wings.
to the LEC Summer Playoffs, where G2, they are looking for Worlds spots today, and they took down their rivals Fnatic in Game 1. Goldberg, we talked a lot about the approaches of both teams, but I think specifically we were looking at, can we see different styles coming out of G2? What do you think with this draft?
I think they actually decided to come out with a different style this time around, going for that Xayah Rakan in the beginning, taking away the Rakan from Hylissang, and then the Camille for one up in the top side into the Mundo instead. And I think it was also reflected a bit in the way that we're actually pathing up towards that top side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. They changed up their style in Game 1, which I think is pretty surprising. It's usually something that you see later in the series, but yeah, they changed up their style and their early game was superb.
What can you say about the priorities for both teams in terms of what they want to draft? Maybe start with Fnatic. What did they give us in Game 1?
I think Fnatic had a pretty solid draft that they usually like to play. Adam was on weak side this time around. He didn't really play strong side, and their bot lane had a really punishing 2v2 lane with the mid jungle having a lot of kill pressure. So I think it was kind of a standard Fnatic draft, and it's something that suits them overall.
But I think the thing with this draft is, and usually when this happens, I'd say, oh, Adam probably didn't have the best game, but he actually did this time around. He had a really good weak side this time around. I think the problem here is that it became very hard to the team fight setting later into the stage because all of your champions, barely melee, really struggles to play into the Xayah feathers, really struggles to play into the Orianna. So I think from that point of view, if Fnatic didn't get that snowball going in the early game, that's where it really started to fall apart.
And they had double bad luck in that the snowball did go in the way of G2. We're going to take a look at the skirmish mid. I think that gave Jankos a triple kill, but this was so instrumental for the rest of the game, especially that early game.
Yeah, I think Jankos had a super insane performance on Lee in this game, and after a few fights in mid that G2 won, it was kind of hard for Nisqy to do anything after this. Like, Jankos played all these fights mechanically well, and it was quite unfortunate for Bwipo here that he couldn't really pick up caps before he died. So yeah, it was really well played by G2, and it snowballed pretty hard after this.
And it's not only just in these fights, it's also general up towards the pathing in general we talked about in the beginning. And then I will say though, I think Caps was left alone a little bit in the first clear where Bwipo did actually come in with an interaction and try and break the flash from Caps here. So maybe a bit more jungle tracking on that point, but outside of that, really still a game from
Maybe he had too much to do. The man had 100% kill participation
Jesus.
in the whole game. Jankos coming up huge, but then we get to the mid game, and I think here is where, Mikkel, you were also talking about how you see that there are still possibilities for Fnatic in a mid game that they're behind in.
Yeah, I definitely. One thing is you have to criticize G2 from putting Rekkles down towards the bottom when the Baron is up, but at the same time, flip side that to Fnatic immediately pulling the trigger and saying, what the hell, he's down towards the bottom side. Now we can just start up this Baron and play for a turn, and that's exactly what they're going to end up doing here.
Yeah, I think with Hylissang engaging, he's always decisive, and he finds Caps, which was the key target for him in this fight, because they know he has no flash, and after this, G2 cannot really win the fight. They're just trying to disengage and try to get whoever they can, and yeah, this was, I think it shows a lot from Fnatic as well, that even when they're behind, they can also have these key moments where they just pull the trigger and go for it.
It was a bit of a flashback to yesterday when Mad Lions were behind and always pulled the trigger. Do you give that same kind of ability to Fnatic? Is that on the same level?
I mean, I won't say it's on the exact same level, but they're doing it right. And the thing is, that mid game, that fight specifically, yes, you could probably say, but it all game long, probably not, right?
That, of course, didn't keep going well for Fnatic. G2, they made the right decisions after, and Verius is going to take us through the second Baron.
Yes, I certainly am, Shox. Let's talk a little bit about this big fight that ultimately decided the game between the two teams. So as you can see in terms of setup, let's start by looking at the minimap and the position. So the Camille is sitting in the bot lane and creating pressure towards the side lane. Camille does have the teleport up and will be able to join the fight, but Fnatic are trying to pressure on the Baron and potentially trying to force this TP out from the Camille to try and get it to force the play. So as we start rolling things out, you can see that Fnatic is looking for an opportunity and they have their eyes on Caps. So the Hex Flash is going to come over and Fnatic sit there and they have a clear focus of who they want to kill. Caps is the priority target. They have a rough idea that Mikyx is all the way over here from the rest of the team. Jankos is slightly split. Rekkles is also split. The TP hasn't come through from the Camille just yet. And so they're sitting here saying, okay, let's see if we can find ourselves a pick. The crazy thing about this play is Caps doesn't actually flash once throughout it. So keep your eyes on this man here because he's going to show so much patience and respect that he doesn't actually have to use that summoner. The other thing to note here that's really game game-changing is the fact that Nisqy uses his stopwatch very early into the fight. I can only assume that this was a misclick because look at, this is a perfect opportunity for him to get right into the middle of the fight, get into melee range of the Orianna. Mikyx is still all the way out here looking for a flank angle to join the team, and the Camille hasn't joined the fray just yet. So he's trying to disengage. You can see they're in a position where, okay, we can't look for the fight, but look at this beautiful knockup that happened onto Upset. He doesn't react in time, the flash does not come through, and he actually takes so much damage initially. And meanwhile, Caps has been able to disengage, Rekkles is now in a better position, and here comes the TP from Wunder because they see this as an opportunity to fight. But meanwhile, look at Nisqy. He's in this awkward position where he now believes that rather than come in from this angle, he's going all the way around to try and track Caps. They can see him on the ward, and he thinks that he can get the isolated 1v1, but that's not what happens. The fight ends up splitting up into two parts, and now the target becomes all about trying to kill this low health Upset, and the entire squad of G2 is going to dedicate their resources into getting that kill. So they're going to collapse. The fight gets split up for Fnatic. Nisqy then joins on the backside, but there's very little he can do. Upset ends up dropping, and the moment he dies, G2 come out ahead in the fight, and they secure themselves the Baron. This was a very big team fight for G2, showcasing that they still can team fight very well, but it was a very well executed fight and overall good game from G2. Now we're going to send it back to Shox and the boys for a little bit more insight to round out the draft.
Thank you very much, Verius. Fantastic breakdown, and in the end, right decision-making for G2 to win that game one. Let's get the draft back up. Fnatic has now picked blue for game two. It was obvious that they needed to change something, be it in the game or in the draft. Goldborg, what do you think it's going to be?
I think that Rakan, once again, is going to be quite pivotal for this series. Last time Fnatic played, it became one of the most pivotal picks there was in that series for an adaptation. And I think the fact that G2 Esports decided to first pick it as well really just illustrates that this is a priority champions, and it probably will be for the rest of the series as well.
If we look at the bans for G2 in game one, do you think a Rakan ban is something they will expend when they're on the red side?
Yeah, most definitely. I don't think Aphelios, for example, is something that they need to ban. I think this series will be a lot about the front to back, and Xayah Rakan is always a super solid front to back, and especially the Rakan first pick just has a lot of pressure in this, so I expect to see it banned now that Fnatic is on blue side.
Okay, then where does the priority go if the Rakan is banned for Fnatic Blue?
Oof, that's a tricky one. I think depends on what they want to get. They could get something like the Lee Sin, which they've also shown that they want to get their hands on before. This game they prioritized the Viego, so it kind of depends on what they want. Yeah, I think a jungler is the most likely option.
Most likely option. We'll see what happens. G2 struck first in tonight's grudge match, and the fight for EU's last spot at Worlds continues after the break.